Well, what is wonderful, everyone? As usual, I give this about 5 minutes before some people show up, and then we'll get into the nocebo effect and the placebo effect and the ability to alter reality with your mind. What up, Eli? What's up, Preston? Let's see what the card says about this this evening. Let's find out. The world card. Very correct. It's a very favorable card. So, how is everyone doing? Who else is here? Oh man, yeah. Did you do that? A raw scorpion? That's insane. The score. I've never done anything that hot, but I've had friends. I've been in the vicinity of watching the reaction. What up, Glitter Kid? Yeah, the scorpion, the Trinidad scorpion is ridiculous. I've seen somebody eat a ghost pepper, and that didn't turn out well at all. And I've had some pretty hot things. I've had some pretty hot peppers, but nah, that's definitely for me. We'll get there. There's a great video of some Indian woman eating something like 20 ghost chilies in like 5 minutes. Yeah, you grow a lot of peppers. That's wicked. And she takes the ghost chilies and rubs them in her eyes. Yeah. Yeah, ghost peppers and chilies. There's something interesting about like us as humans, and no other creatures go around that kind of stuff, around hot stuff, and like its connection to like opening up, like, you know, take you on a trip, man. Carolina Reaper. Ugh. Yeah, that's some heavy duty stuff. Well, Electric Chow. What up, Daniel Drury? So I'll give it like 2 more minutes, and then I'll dig in here.
I think both of y'all are ordering the lift. I'm just looking. Oh.
It seems like there's a few pub crawls going on. Yeah, fire bangs, as that's definitely for sure. Hot peppers in general it's pretty interesting, how it can change and alter your brain, and how it can get rid of pain even. Maybe that would work a little better. There we go. Oh, chickens and hot peppers, that's crazy. Yeah, it will burn pieces of you away for sure. Yeah, habanero. Even a habanero is real hot stuff, man. That's like, what's like 100,000 heat units on that. Yeah. I mean, even like I've had a couple little they're Thai chilies. They're like 60 or 70, but man, I had a couple of those in a martini one time. That was crazy. Yeah, there's the electrical stimulation within that. It's interesting how some people are into the different kinds of stimulation. Like people like a very heady type. As yesterday we were kind of getting into altered states of consciousness and drugs and things like this. But like how some people enjoy more of a heady experience and other people like to be kind of depressed, suppressed, subdued. So yeah, that's good, MK. Yeah, parasites do not like the hot things, that's for sure. They definitely don't like the hot things. They don't like the bitter things. The more bitter and the more the hot. Yeah. What's up, I know? Well, okay, we in here about 7 minutes, so we'll just get going on this. The idea of a nocebo or a placebo effect. Everybody, accepts that the placebo effects happen. That within clinical trials, that there's some reason they can't figure out why people are getting healthy when they shouldn't, or so that's the key to everything. The fact that there is such a thing as a placebo effect is absolute proof of the power of the mind, of what the mind is doing and capable of. And we can look at this in so many directions. And when we get into, I've said before, I think everybody is some level of autistic, using that kind of scale of how people, because everybody has a different way that they view the world and see the world and interact with it. That as the only observer that is the only relevance for your life is the way that you observe it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Who cares? So we all have our own little skew and unique version of the world. But there is this thing that happens through the nocebo effect. Is essentially the opposite of the placebo, where something negative occurs or something bad comes out of usually suggestion. And so this is completely psychological, but it proves the idea that the psychology is overstands the body and overstands all of the chemical things that go on with it and the health of the being. And so the idea of the Munchausen by proxy syndrome is that people are often told they're sick when they're not. That's essentially what it comes down to. And I would say that there's a huge number of people on this planet, especially in the Americas, that they've become sick because they've been told they were sick. Everybody believes themselves to be sick. I mean, you come out the womb, you're told you're diseased. You're told you're a sinner. And if you're not told you're a sinner by your religion, then you're told by the doctor that, like, oh, you know what? You're not healthy, you're broken, we need to put needles in you. So as soon as we come into the world, the first thing we're told is that we have Munchausen's. That's what we're told. The doctors say, you're sick. We need to fix you. You ain't even been in the world for 2 seconds. And so there's this, so as we walk through life, there doesn't seem to be too many things out here saying, hey, you're good the way you are, you're healthy, and encouraging that. Nobody does that. And so everybody out here is anywhere you go, anyone you see, they have a certain disease, a certain sickness. We're all sick to a degree, but it's even more thrown into our alchemical laboratory inside of ourselves, inside of our minds, where we keep recreating a sicker and more diseased environment. We keep redundifying information to say, hey, we're not strong enough, we're sick, we're diseased, we're there's something not right about the human. And so this big mental game is to make you buy the products. It's called fear and consumption. So all of these things are unified together within the society we live in of the consumerist and the diseased individual, that you must fear something because you're diseased, and here we have the solution for you. Hey, come over here, we have the solution. And for the people that aren't offering the solutions, they're telling you, hey, you've got a problem, everything's a problem. And so we actually end up bringing into our body psychically through a spiritual level, if we call it a higher level or higher vibration, which is actually comes through our brains, and we start to decode this message and put it into our body, and we give our bodies a diseased environment. We think it, and it becomes such. And the next outpouring of that is people believe they're diseased, and this whole world is going to nowhere anyway. So then what do? They open up a business that actually, they go, oh, we don't really care that there's a little bit of poison involved in this. We don't care that there's a little bit of rat poison in your burger, because we're all going that way anyways, and everything's poisoned, everything's destroyed already. So how do we affect this? How do we get in the way of our own mind, continually receiving these inputs of information saying, you're diseased and there's something that needs to be fixed? I mean, a lot of people here that get in this health conscious community, and they're always trying to be healthy. They're trying to they're like, oh, I'm in a cleanse. I'm cleansing. And while a lot of people definitely need to cleanse themselves and detoxify their entire system, some people get so obsessed with the idea that they keep themselves sick for much longer than they need to. That they could be, just a little bit more cleansing. I need to detox. And that mindset is instilled into people. Oh, now you're sick. You need to do something about it. And even in these health communities, there's more sick people in the health communities because of the concept that they're just continually thinking, well, I need to go on this fast. I need to do this. I need to cleanse myself. Nobody sitting for a second saying, hey, the way I'm sitting right now, I'm moving, I'm comfortable, and I'm healthy right now. There's no goal here. People need to understand, health is not a goal. You don't get to be healthy over there. Like right now, in the moment, are you comfortable? And then we can move from that position. If you're comfortable, then we say, are you filled with joy? And then we can go through these different processes. But it's always stepping up. As I've always put it, there's no right and wrong. There's only this thing about healthy all the way down to the bottom, which is completely unhealthy, which is death. You'd call that death. If you organize your system into a way that is so unhealthy, it dies. It splits itself. It splits itself away from itself. And so, starting with our minds, if we consider, like, where are we now? What is our position now in the universe? For me, it's right here, sitting outside, getting a little sunshine. Got some wine in me. Had a little bit of chocolate. Comfortable, and I'm enjoying my experience. So from here, while I do have a couple things within my system that are not fully, I wouldn't say healthy, but I got a couple like injuries and pain points and things, but by being here as one holistic unit, I'm comfortable. So I know there's things that will need to be fixed within my lifestyle, my behaviors, the things that I consume, certain yogic practices. And I'm not saying yoga practices like just stretching, but all of the different things that go into binding myself to my spirit. But within all of that, right now, I consider myself healthy. What else? Why else would I consider anything else? Somebody else might look at me and say, oh, well, you got this thing here and this is going on, and there's something unhealthy about the way that you act, what you do, and even the outpouring. Oh, look at you, have a little bit of a, what is that there on your skin? You have a little, okay, you've got a skin disorder. You're diseased. Now, all of these things are well and good to understand when we do have something to fix, some sort of ailment that exist within one of our organs of our body. I speak at length about this, but this is like a next step to the concept of people not becoming obsessed with becoming healthy, to be more, as the last couple talks have been about, to be self-gratifying, to be self-conscious, to be self-aware, and to have an ego, a healthy one, that says, what am I right now, and what's my experience like, and going forward from there to be able to, then take little pieces out of your habits and your environment that don't add to your betterment. Because as you sit now, you can either say, I'm sick and I need to get healthy, you've caused duality, or you can say, hey, I'm perfectly fine. Do I want to just upgrade my experience or downgrade my experience? But if you say sick, if you say unhealthy, then there's healthy over here. It becomes that whole dualistic viewpoint of the world. That person's diseased, or that person's, there's always the opposite to things that people like you to believe in, which is obviously not the truth. There's only degrees of health. There's degrees of happiness. There's times that you're sort of happy, comfortable, content, and there's times like, oh, joyous, and there's times that there it is. That's the whole rhythm. It's not across from each other. It's not that's unhealthy and this is healthy. This is why you can find people that can do and listen to and participate in things that are a little bit unhealthy, that they somehow, how has they lived this long life? Look at these old, there's always the jokes about the comedians. They live long lives, smoking cigars, hanging out, doing easy women, and they live to 100 years old. Well, because they had no quibbles. They had no qualms with the world. And so therefore the directive and the motivation for everyone out there to profit off of people is, the directive is, you are sick and you need to fix it somehow. And people that are lighthearted, that have comedy in their being, they just go, probably not. We good the way we are. This is people that like, how did they live so long? Never got any, person that smokes their whole life and never gets lung cancer. How's that happen? Literally their mind just doesn't see it as an outcome. And so this actually gets into a couple people were saying something in the last episode about should you write down worst case scenarios? No, it's ridiculous. There is no worst case scenario. There is only whatever it is that you want to have come out of the future, which is mentally preparing yourself to do, to upgrade your life in any way possible, any way that you want. And doing that requires you not to be in a state of thinking there's some worst case scenario, okay, I've got this disease and it's going to become worse, or whatever it might be. But there is no equal opposite. It doesn't exist. It's just, how do we improve the experience? And to do that is to get rid of all of the influxes and inputs of things that say, hey, you're diseased, you're not good enough, and you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like thinking of a kid learning, you learn a new language. You never learned a language before? It's difficult. You've never done it. It's a new operating system. Would that make you diseased or sick that you didn't know a language? No, not at all. And it's in the exact same way that our entire operating system, our human operating system, the environment we live in is a framework in our minds that we were given and programmed through childhood, and it's continually refed information on a looping mechanism that tells us we're something. We're going to die. We're going to get sick. This is how it works. But those are all just figments. They're illusions of things that we've just applied so many times within our mind that it actually becomes the truth. It gets like into a record. It's put into there. It's as your operating system, that this connects to this and this connects to this. When in reality, in the real world, and the whole thing that's really going on, if you cleaned your entire operating system, your own mind, to think that there's such thing as disease in your body, and to think that no, we're just on a path here from where I am to healthier states, higher levels of awareness, then you change the entire paradigm for how you interact with the world, the things that you'll listen to, the things that you'll, as I've gotten to this before, it's like not accepting when people just tell you, like, you're sick. Like, no, this isn't true. Don't accept people because they happen to be professional. You listen to a doctor, you know what doctors are professional in? A professional in sickness. So why would you ever listen to a doctor? All they know is sickness. Why wouldn't you listen to a healthy person? And why wouldn't you even don't even listen to a healthy person or the doctor? Listen to yourself. What does your body say? This is getting more identified with your mental body, your spiritual body, which is inside of here somewhere, and then your physical body, which is your coffin, your tomb. Somebody was saying something about, the physical body is mortal. mean, is it really? I mean, it is in the sense that it is a dead thing. You know, it comes from the dead world. It comes from, your body is made from the earth, which is dead. There's nothing to it. But then we put it into this body, and it forms a shape around our spiritual body, and our mental body interacts with that. So it's putting ourselves in a position of reclaiming your mental state, understanding, putting your body in an understanding, so you understand how it functions and you listen to it. And by listening to it, you can start to program it differently. If you comprehend that suggestion works, we've proved it 1,000 times. Like everybody knows, you can go to hypnosis. You can go to a doctor. The nocebo effect, placebo effect. If we accept these things as truths, that someone outside of us can have an effect on us, our mentality, to make us do something, persuade us to buy a car, to persuade us to lift weights, to get big, whatever it might be, then you can do that to yourself. And not only can you do that to yourself, your mind, being more powerful than the body, getting into the nocebo effect, can say, no, I'm perfectly healthy. And all of a sudden, every little cell in your body just goes, oh yeah, we are healthy. Why would it be any other way? And then you would do things that would support these kind of healthy habits, these healthy things that are you. And to think that you're just going to go, oh no, I'm healthy, and then go consciously no and just go grab a bacon double cheeseburger for every meal, that's probably not going to work out too well. That's just being, if you want to be healthy, why would you do that anyways? But the mind, you could if your mind was powerful enough. But most people that have that kind of diet, their deity is actually, in the way of that happening. So you find people that actually find things that are less invasive into the universe. They want to be healthier. They want to find ways of interacting with less things, with consuming less things. Excuse me, I don't mean interacting with less, but consuming less things. And coming to that whole thing of like, what is the essence, source, middle? What is the Midgard of you? Where do you start? Is it somewhere in your brain? Well, the brain doesn't even feel anything. Does it start in your belly button? Belly button's an interesting place. Seems like the whole womb, the whole creation, everything starts around the belly button, perfectly in the middle of the body. And that's where your life was built out of, the cord to the mother, the cord into your, your being. And so from that point of having awareness of where you actually sit, you sit inside of your body. Your body is not you. It's like a spacesuit. So when you understand that, then you all of a sudden go, okay, well, am I sitting behind my eyeballs inside of my skull? Is that where your thinking goes on? Go ahead and stub your toe, and then tell me where you're thinking from. You're thinking from the place of feeling. You're not thinking from your brain, oh, that hurts in my head. You're literally thinking from the point on your stub toe that is what hurts. So you're listening to your body going, oh, down here, over here. I'm in this place you're not paying attention to. So where's your mind at? It's certainly not behind your eyeballs. It's not in that brain that you have there. The brain is not where you are, and it's not coming out of here. You can lose focus of things. You lose focus of something because you're so involved in something. So involved in sex, you can lose your place in the world. Where do I sit? You could be so involved in pain. You ever done something that's so painful? I mean, a broken toe, stubbing your toe is a pretty bad one. And that's universal. Everybody knows a stubbed toe is like, oh, where do you reside? And that I want to make, kind of fundamentally clear in all of this, is you don't reside in your brain behind your head, and you're not doing your thinking from there, because your thoughts aren't yours. They just happen to go through. They just go through your head like a ticker tape, and you grab onto the ones that you identify with and that you want to encourage. But yet we've been told to encourage the negative thoughts. We've been encouraged, we've been suggested to oh no, the negative thoughts, those are the real ones. Watch the media, watch what's going on here, and don't worry, but I know it all looks terrible, but we have the solution. If you just come right over here around the side, we have the solution to that. Eliminate both of those things and start to find out where you live inside of your body. And then all of a sudden, your body is a whole different machine. It's a whole different. It's a whole different system.
Mm.
So you understand
Oh, yeah,
your
true.
body to be a different system than your brain is, and your brain is a different system than what your spiritual energy is. And when you can line those up, this is the thing people talk about, is using a spiritual energy, which is a spiral energy, into your system, which becomes spiraling for your thoughts, which allows me to do things like this, to talk on this little rant here when I had nothing to say. When I came on here, I had nothing to say. But I found some sort of energy that was pulling to one set, one idea, one motivation, one force. And that went through my spiritual being into my thought processing, the brain, and then I process those thoughts and it comes out of what is my physical form. So I'm using my tongue and using my lips and using the place right where my tongue resides down back through here into the heart. Don't they say the tongue grows out of the heart? And so I speak from that place. And then if we look further, like my body was built out of my belly, the belly button. So the source of me talking becomes not up here, but somewhere here in the middle of my chest and actually down on my belly button. And I can say all of that because that's what I do in the moment, because I have nothing to say. There's no, So here we are. Hope you enjoyed that little rant, and I'll dig into what y'all talking about here. Mm-hmm. Kratom, nutritionally wise. What up, Logan? We'll get into that in a second. Mr. Business, what's up? We'll dig in that in a little bit. Electric tile. I'll do a whole show on that. That's a very good topic. Hit me on one of my other videos and remind me to do a show on that. I'll do that. That will be very soon. But I don't want to dig into that right now. But that's a really great idea. The electric and magnetic foods. What up, Eldrin? Morphlings, there it is. That's the key concept. As always, electric tile's got like the perfect words to surmise all the long rantings I go on. The morphlings. What up, Bat? Rocco. What up, Rocco? Rocco in the building, listening to Zen rant and rave about stuff. Awesome. MK, micro choices lead to big change. Yeah. MK, I'm not against weightlifting. You must have misheard how I said it. I'm all for doing whatever you think you need to do, but a lot of people, I'll give you the shortened version. People find too much identification with their body and leave out everything else to do with the spiritual mental adventure, and they use that thing as a crutch. I'm against it in the same way I'm against alcohol and drugs. I'm sitting here drinking some wine. You know what I mean? It's one more thing that people find that everyone unanimously says is a good thing that isn't necessarily a good thing. So I like to take things that people apply as good and say, well, let's question this. And somebody that says something's bad, and I say, let's question that. Because too many people get into those categories of saying it's universally a good idea, and I think that there's a lot more problems with it, especially considering that most people are doing the weightlifting wrong. Have you ever watched anybody with horrible form? You're doing more bad to yourself, you're doing more harm to yourself than good on a physical level. And then if we traverse backwards, we understand that that's a mental thing that's actually going on there. So these behavioral patterns that come out as lifting weights or doing whatever, these are and because it's such a major thing to do, lifting a weight is an undertaking. So you better, if you're going to go through that process, it better be a spiritual, mental, physical one, not just I want a nice body so I can that's all well and good, but I speak, to emancipate yourself from all of the the needs for something. So that way, that when you do go pick up a weight because you want a nice body, it's for the right reason for yourself. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm glad you've got benefits out of it, MK. So hopefully that makes more sense, because I think it has plenty of great value. Like, it should be used, but most people aren't to the point of correctly using their body when they don't even know how to use their minds. And if your mind is the one controlling the body, my suggestion is always to people is get your mind right, and then out of that will come, the ability to use your body correctly. I mean, it can work in both directions. Don't get me wrong on that. You can learn how to use your body, and then, how does it work on the mind? Okay. Glitter Kid, I don't quite understand what you mean there. You have an incredible pull on your legs. Yeah, that would be a little more to get into. I don't really know how to answer that, man. Oh, no, Lev Katesh, no, I'm all for salt baths. I think I kind of gotten this a couple other shows. If you can jump into the ocean where all this salt is, I think it's a good idea. I think salt baths are a great idea. I think just ingestion tends to be the dilemma. The salt on the skin, if you're supposed to be getting any of that in the body, you're getting it through, the thin film, which is your biggest organ on your body. So if your body so chooses to take some of that salt in, I think it's very healthy for a lot of reasons, especially considering where it is, next to the beach. Most of the time we consider these ideas next to the beach, plus the sun charge and all of this. But yeah, salt baths I'm all for. Yeah. What up, Instance?
Oh, fuck! Oh! No!
Yeah, see, MK, yeah, I'll just go a little farther on that, man, with you. Makes sense, calms your mind and focus. Yeah. You know what? I mean, I'll do another whole show on it so I can clarify things for people on that, because I think it is a big thing. I think it is a big deal. I think, coming from a background of being very kinesiologically aware, movement patterns, things like this, playing a lot of sports, I found a lot of good out of it. But then I found that, because I wasn't as aware mentally and spiritually at the time, I'm like, man, if I could have only had this as a base to go into lifting weights and doing what I was doing, that it would be a totally wider experience, a bigger, more a more quality of an experience. Because then I'm looking at the little things that I know how to do and correct now, and little movements that I do. Like, if I would have known then, oh man, I'd be throwing a ball over a mountain at this point. I'd be playing professionally somewhere, that kind of thing. Yeah, Glitter, I'd love to answer the question. I just, it seems to be either maybe an actual physical something in you that is electrically charged, more Gelen type, or something more like Kundalini type. I mean, those are two different directions, but it's hard to know from this distance. I don't know anything else about it. So, if you ever want to do a one-on-one so I can chat with you, it makes it a little easier, let me know. Well, enjoy the bath, Katesh. There we go. Electric towel, always making it fundamental. Getting to the basics, the fundamentals. If we are what we believe. I love that concept, and that obviously is the truth, but having people come to morphing themselves, as you say, to any degree, because they're immediately oh, I want to be 5 foot taller. I want to, that they think that's going to happen right away, and they don't see that. So the little micro adjustments that people need to do to make on the dials to do something slightly different, they don't recognize the little subtle changes that occur. What's up, Spiral Cosmos Art? Yeah, you're a little late, man, but yeah, I was giving it. I'll give you a quick rundown as fast as I can on what I said, but I suggest to go listen to all of the beginning of the video. Spiral Cosmo Art is that everyone on the planet has a great degree of that. It occurs regularly on a day-to-day basis throughout all aspects of our life. That the fear and consumption that is driven into society is fundamentally Munchausen's to the globe. That happens to everyone everywhere. So, yeah, make sure you go back and listen to the beginning of this, because I dig into it a little deeper. What up, Sean Globe? Yeah, you missed everything, Zet. You missed it all. There you go. The cell of life is immortal. Let's get into the really interesting things about saying is immortal. Yeah, saying that is anything then really mortal, even the body. If you could just get yourself in a little spaceship, the craft that is you, which is that little immortal cell, and just dip off, you know, recreate yourself anywhere you want. That's kind of what you know, the concept of the gurus and the yogis, that like autobiography of a yogi, Pramashanda Yogananda, and talking about his teachers that were able to just basically get into meditation, jump out of their body, recast themselves and form themselves somewhere else and walk around. Shot that little immortal cell out of them and recreated their form somewhere else. Bat, do I know about See, one of these days I'll do a really long study myself on astrology. I mean, you would think that I would know quite a bit about it. And as always, as I like to point out, I have a very large, broad view of a lot of different things and how they work together. I can make a schematic out of all of this, but I don't know specifically what Neptune means and what, you know, what these other planetary or light bodies mean and how they work in someone's, you know, birth chart. Like, I couldn't even name you the 12 different astrological signs, you know. I should be able to. It's just something that's always been on the back burner for me, that I just never made it a conscious awareness to study it, because I always got it, the larger view of it. Spiral Cosmort, that's hilarious. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about TsarXen, and I oftentimes find bathrooms in New Orleans where someone tags TsarXen on it. It's pretty funny. Spiral Cosmort. There's nothing I need to call myself. Because an atom is not stationary, and the larger form of Zen is not stationary either. Make that one easy. I seem to be a verb, always in motion. The idea of sitting anywhere in any kind of practice of sitting, meditating, it has plenty of useful, wonderful benefits, especially for little interesting things like getting out of body and walking around and traversing. But for a standard method for most people, I think that their motivation and their technique and in their life should be more to understand walking meditation, because most people are going to be doing more of their life is spent doing something rather than like thinking that they need to. And here's a furthering concept. More people think that meditation and being enlightened or being spiritual involves sitting down in a very uncomfortable posture for 45 minutes and meditating, going Om. Yeah, and then they step away from that, and they're back into doing everything else they're doing, thinking it's a separation where they haven't made the application into no, this isn't a separate thing. You just are. So you should always be in the state of meditation. Life in itself is a meditation. Life in itself is an art of its own creation of meditation. It's an infinite recursive loop of self recreating self every moment. And if somebody thinks that they can go and sit into some sort of zazen posture and do a meditation and change anything, it has one specific effect, and I think that's what it is studying the mind and being able to blast off somewhere. But if people can't relate that to their everyday life, because I've known a lot of people that think that because they do some yoga practice, they go down the street, they do yoga, and then the rest of their life has not impacted or done anything for, because they separate it. People go in their little meditation and they got their little thing. Like, you meditate, but this is how it is out here. It's a weird, it's not weird. It's that they find themselves dividing a space. That's my space that I need to be doing this in. No, the whole world is your space. That's the lesson. Everywhere you are is your space. What up, Jessica? Hey, I just seen your email. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, astrology. We'll get into deeper things on astrology soon. I'll do a heavy duty, immersive session of study for myself into that, so I can relay the message a little easier. But just saying sidereal astrology, we'll dig into another time. And I'm a little behind here. I'm at 5:56. I don't know where everybody else is. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, I'm only a few minutes behind. What up, Lion Strong? Neptune represents imagination, fantasy, subconscious. Interesting. That's Spiral Cosmart. That's interesting, because that would be a very big reason that it probably isn't included too often in people talking about. They always know about Saturn. They always know about, certain energies, but Neptune doesn't really pop up that often, because it does have to do with imagination, and that's always the repressive force, is on what your imagination is. Here we go, MK. Yeah. Pisces is Neptune, okay. So another day of the moon right there. The moon's right there, and the sun is right there behind that. So I love days that I can, right on camera, you can see. Let's see. Let me flip this around for y'all. There's the moon. Check it. There we go. See, there's the moon. Zoom in a little more if I can. There we go. And so that's south of me. South of me, the moon is out, and it's about, what is it, 6 o'clock? Yeah, 6 o'clock Central Time. There's the moon. And the sun is right there, obviously. Interesting. So when I was out here earlier, they were both in the same sky as they have been for the past few days. Yeah, Spiral Cosmart. That is yeah, the Zazen. It's a very important thing. It definitely is, but I think for most people getting into it, most people are taught and they have some comprehension of meditation and being spiritual and having that, and they must sit in meditation, and there's a that separation that occurs. But yeah, I think once you have a decent degree of awareness while you're walking, applying that sitting practice is quite helpful. What up, Danny? What's 4 have to do with anything? There you go, Bap. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Since they've been out, I mean, not that it isn't always out at the same time, but when it's especially it's about 60% right now. It's getting bigger, 60%. Yeah, so it's quite a bit of energy succubus thing right now. But where have I been? I've been in an interesting state of dreaming and waking life, and had an interesting dream about Savan last night. For everybody that's into Savan Bomar, I don't think I was out of body. I can't really tell. It was just I wasn't quite there, but I might have been. But yeah, Savan Bomar. I've had lots of old. They weren't dreams. I definitely met him out of body quite a few times. I don't know that he was aware of it at the time or whatever, but yeah, last night was interesting. I can't remember all of it. It just came to me right a minute ago. Zach Crown with that shady ass moon always come around here wanting something from the sun. Every time always like, well, what do you have? Everything you want. And the moon's like, yo, give me that stuff. I need more energy. I've had many moons, dreams of moons, many dreams of moons. Like, I had a dream of when the moon, just recently the moon was 6-sided, and I've had a dream of 4 moons in a square, like boom, 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 boom. And I've had dreams of, very many times, dreams of multiple moons. And those are always quite interesting. I've had one that there was 2 moons in the sky, and I took my phone out to take a picture of it. And as soon as I did, the moon disappeared. Somebody was standing next to me. I was like, do you see that there's 2 moons there? And then the person's like, yeah. And so I went to take my phone out, and I had this phone in my hand. So I wasn't even aware that I was dreaming or out of body or whatever, because all of my little clue-ins that I was dreaming didn't jump in there. So I went to take a picture, and the moon was like, zoop. It like sped off into the distance. Interesting, Bap. That's a great, I like that a lot. That's a very big clue in. Do you hear the sound of the bells right now? I mean, why do you think the church made it those sounds, those bells? Like the frequencies that when you understand that churches and the bells connected to time, and you start to understand further what time lords are and what the churches have literally done with controlling awareness of time and space by saying, when these bells ring on Sunday, because it first started with just the bells were happening at church at high noon and like at 6 o'clock, but then all of a sudden the railroad tracks came through. It gave us what we see as a clock or a watch that then became micro dosing up those moments of the universe. But initially it was all about time was just existing, and then somebody said, no, now is right now, and the bell rang for the church to say, hey, come pay homage. In the good version of this reality, in the positive aspect of the reality, it was like, hey, let's all come together, put energy into this system that we all get something out of. That's where the church, in my sight of the future will be. It will go back to what it was supposed to be. Because when you understand what it is, there's no reason to break down the churches, because they're built to do something. But if we all understand that the church was built as a funnel and a center for spiritual energy, like you can get in all my other videos. What?
here's the thing, like,
Whoever
it's
hasn't
such an
seen those
aggressive
videos.
scene out there, okay? And everybody's doing
Whoever hasn't seen those videos about how the church works and how it's built, go check those out. But again, the idea is like when we come to terms with, like, if we go, oh well, we're inside of this time spell, but let's use this time spell to our advantage, where when that bell at noon goes off, because when the sun is at the highest point in the sky, to be charging up people coming into the church, which is actually basically like it's like, for the simple mind, it's in your car you have a spark plug, and that spark is what energizes and makes the engine go. And so they're creating, churches are giant capacitors and spark plugs. And so if we got in there doing the right thing, pushing out energy and moving energy around in a positive way, and not into a succubus source of a monotheistic conglomerate overlord, and it actually gets functioned as what it should be, as an alternating current throughout all of people on the planet, things change. Electric Tile, we are the eyes in every cell of the body. We are also everywhere. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Daniel Drury. You know what? It's a little bit frustrating, is that kind of information comes from the same organization that tells us we live on a ball flying through outer space behind a sun hurling at 60,000 miles. And so whenever the NASA says, "Oh, the sun makes this sound," I'm like, "Oh man!" Like, now I got to research this more, because I don't trust anything that NASA says to begin with, and now I'm gonna have to go. Let me find somebody that actually is got the equipment and. Okay, are you this? Okay, cool. But I'm sure it does. What church is ringing those bells? I don't know what church that is. What time is it here? Here it is 6 o'clock in the Central Standard Time. Gary Baxter, yeah, I mean, in every source, like what they used to be before. Well, like, remember, I've gotten into it through churches as energy grabbers. Before, it was the human spiritual energy. It was the energy of the people, literally. And then that turned into the coins, which are made of certain things years and years and years ago, that actually are doing some resonant sound frequencies. And that currency then going into the church was supposed to be as a distributor cap or distributor coil, should be distributing it back out like a fountain. That this is why churches have fountains in front of them. That energy that people were putting into the church should have been a center of investment and a fountain that would then spray and radiate all of that energy and currency back out to the community at large. And something happened where within each one of those churches there's a backup or a vault. There's a vault that contains energy harnessed in the earth, like of everything that they've grabbed out of the people coming there. And not only in a physical format now, and now it's digital, like here, slide your credit card through at church to give $5 to the church. Where's all that going, right? It's getting stopped up and backed up in all parts of the system as a whole, where it should be actually radiating. Could you imagine if the church just boom released all of the information? And I say information, I just mean information, like the correct geometry of everything. In like, here's all the books, here's all the information, the books, the correct geometry, and then they released all the information in the form of currency that's been stopped up and backed up, basically behind a dam, because the church is like, damn. It's like, damn, son. No, it's literally like a dam. It's damming up currency and the supply of water, holding the currency. They're holding the water, and then they baptize you with a drop of it. Consider that. They're holding currency, energy, money. They're holding the money. They're holding the moon hostage, and then delivering you. When you're first born, they dunk you in it, and then they throw you out, and you come back and you pay them more, and then they just, here's one little. This is the holy water. You can have one little drop of it. It's like that. Remember, anybody seen Rango? Go check that out. Check out that movie Rango. You'll understand completely. And that's where we are right now. So, as the church, it's like giving up the ghost. Like all of these people walking around as spirits and as ghosts. That as soon as the church were to release that power of energy, the currency, the literal money, release the moon to everyone. So if anyone knew completely, if people come to, okay, go to church. I'm at church. I'm at church right now. I'm inside of my temples. There's my temples. I'm inside of my temple proper. So if everyone knew there was their own temple proper and knew what the moon was as it really is and what the sun is doing, then they would have a whole, there'd be no dams. We wouldn't be damming anything. We wouldn't be damming water out there in nature because this is hyper-referential. There'd be no damming up water out in nature, and there would be no damming up water in your own body. There'd no be damming up you'd never say dam to something because there would be nothing to dam, because currency would just flow the way it should. It would be non-stop, complete, fluent, flowing, energetic sources. And so what those churches were supposed to do, as I just further on a little bit on this, is they were supposed to be the capacitors or the centers of donating energy and currency and information that then was supposed to distribute, like a distributor cap in a car, that distribute the energy to all of the cylinders. There's 8 smaller cylinders. Now you got everything's popping off. And the church is basically a car that isn't working, a car that is going nowhere. Yeah, and there you go, art by BAP. People, I've been telling people this just slightly, because a lot of people can go in church, and even though you're there trying to do your own thing and collect energy, because you can collect energy at a church, I wouldn't suggest it to most people, because you can get wrapped up and caught up with all of the people in there that are literally not, those people aren't for you. The people that go to church are who else goes to church? Evil spirits. Why? Because they want to be, they've done sinned, right? So their mindset is one of, going to church is like going to the hospital. It's like going to the doctor. I've sinned, I need to be fixed. Give me my big white wafer, or give me my little white pill. It's the same thing, same concept. You either have the black priestcraft or the white priestcraft. The black priestcraft is literally in every single way, because the church is black magic, is the black. Why does he wear the black thing with a little white there? You go to the hospital, they're wearing the white robe. It's the same thing. They offer you the little white wafer. The church offers you the big white wafer. Both of them are the body or the healing solutions to the Munchausen syndrome. They're giving you the solution. So yeah, but when people get aware of it, you could just go to church with having no understanding what you are and that energy in there. It's a great place to charge up, especially nice churches. There's some really cool churches to walk into. Man, I went to church on Easter Sunday last year. I had a see this right here? I had a full-on gold and white. This was gold and white, and it was Easter Sunday in the middle of that was fun. That was a charge, literally energy charge, like zzz. Walking through there, people are like, who's walking through here? Jesus walking through the building? I was like, yes, if you only knew. Oh, hey Bap, I just started your video last night and I passed out on it, but I'll watch it today. The other one you sent me, I'll check it out. The one you were making, you were doing the air, fire, earth, water, I believe. But yeah, I'll check that out. You had a dream of a man repeatedly snorting cocaine while scary music was playing in the background. This was last night? You might have been dreaming about me, because that's what I was doing all night. Basically, up in about 5 minutes ago. You hear all the scary music? There's cocaine everywhere. Yeah, Reza, that's the thing. If you're interested in that concept, Reza, what you just wrote at 613, go look into Dan Winter's work. He'll He'll put your mind in the right place about understanding that the only reason you're here is to learn how to bring memory through death. And so that's all it is, because any memory, once again, as I get into it, memory means water and light, and it's understanding how to move water and light, and to keep it contained within the vessel of you. And one single piece of water can be holographically re-represented. So in that single immortal cell that is inside of you, if you can understand how to compress that seed of knowledge, which is all of you, into one little immortal cell, you can pop in and out of reality anywhere you want with all of the information that you've gained in this lifetime. That seems like the only way it could be, huh? If there seems to be people with advanced knowledge on this planet, they weren't getting it out of one lifetime, and they're not getting it off of just researching. Like, you think people out here are just getting their knowledge from reading somebody else's book? It's helpful, but like people that have had, higher level experiences or whatever, it's like doing 5 grams of mushrooms in complete darkness. That concept, but it's in the sense of just having some sort of knowingness or awareness that is actually parts of your DNA uncoding itself, like putting itself back into your memory banks. And they call them memory banks for a reason, because banks are on the banks of river, which control the flow of water. So why do you have memory banks? Mem-ori, water and light banks. Banks to control the water and light that are going on inside of your head, which came out of what you are is the immortal cell. But then if you learn how to, I think there's different paths to different types of immortality. I think there are people that might be professional reincarnators. I think there are people that might just live out their lives and get to the next body and do it again. And I think there might be people that are jumping through bodies. I think there might be like vessels just sitting around that people jump into. So I think there's many different ways of moving your spirit into different vessels. Let's put it that way. Thank you, Gary. There you go, Bap. Bap, you got the excellent wordplay, man. Thank you for putting that down in front of everybody. Because sometimes I'll do some fun wordplay like this, but it will. I think it misses people. Because sometimes when you're just like, you're flipping through all of the letters and you're keying them together, and you see when 2 words are the same thing flipped around, that even if I say it, people don't catch on to it that quick. But writing it out, so anybody that's really interested in, and I don't know why I don't tell people about this, and I should start putting it at the beginning of my videos, but anybody that's really interested in the etymology stuff, look at my writings from 5 or 6 years ago on my ZenAlchemist.wordpress. And so you can see, like I break down words, like, so I'm not playing with it this way, and you're trying to hear, and I got to speak through it. You can see it physically in front of you, like ADAM is ATM, is M is DMT, is all of these things. And I play with a lot of different words that way. There's probably 100 and some writings that I have. So if anybody's really interested in the etymology stuff that I was really playing with years and years ago, ZenAlchemist.wordpress. Zen, I'm above. It's funny, whenever I can't stand uppers, man. Gary Baxter, I'm above cocaine. Yeah, man. I've in the few times that I've done that, I don't see how people get hooked on it. But I'm already like a heady person, and anytime that I even do even coffee to me, I can't f with. If you give me a light roast coffee, I'll be zooted out of my mind. So I only play with espresso, super dark roast, so it's burnt off all that caffeine. I can't play with the uppers, man. I'm already too heady. I need downers. I need just to be like relaxed. Yeah, Dan Winter, man. Is it Dan Winters or Dan Winter? Because there's one as a photographer, one's you'll know the difference. One's like old man Dan Winter. Great storyteller too. Yeah, Bap, that's excellent. See, look at that. DMT. Yeah, Adam. ADAM. Which is Atom, which is ATOM, which is ATM, which is currency. It links into there pretty well with DMT. I've not. I seen one of his videos recently that it was funny because I spoke about it because I did a video, and as I was doing the video, he was releasing his video on the exact same subject, and it was kind of, it was the cryptocurrency one. I did a video before that I didn't label cryptocurrency, but I did the cryptocurrency talk in a, not a response, but just as to keep going with the energy of that idea. But the videos prior to that, he released the same day. So yeah, I'll dig into his whole work because I seen he put 2 videos out recently. Oh, Jake Dyer, enjoy that WordPress, man. Start at the beginning. You'll see a nice transition. And again, it's just like with these videos, there is a transition to what I do. To most of them. Some of them are kind of just like off the beaten path, but there's a development within the way that I started with those writings to kind of clue people in. Because there's not a really good way. I've always said there's not a really good way of doing a 101, but I try to construct a way of writing in a way to bring people along a path. So I wouldn't suggest starting at the end writings and jumping around. There might be a couple things you can jump around and find in there that are, if they're interesting to you. Like there's one that I always like pointing people to. It's one I did on Mars and Tuesday. It's one of a really deep one on urine therapy, Mars, wars, Tiwi's Day, Tuesday. Yeah, so check that one out. That's pretty cool. Lion's drawing. That's, you know what, I think that's a dream that everyone has. That's kind of the waking up, is you got 2 old people meeting your parents that, and again, this is no fault of anybody's parents or anything, but especially if you grow up in that household where they're feeding you meat and feeding you poison, and this even gets into the Munchausen thing. Oh, you're always sick, blah 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 blah. Like, dude, like on the real, like growing up, man, there was a lot of things that were supposedly not right about my person. Allergy shots, like, man, I think I'm still, even to some degree, releasing toxin from the amount of allergies I got, allergy shots I got growing up. It was insane. So anyways, yeah, that concept is, I think everyone has that. Like, there's 2 people here that if they knew better, they'd be doing more and helping more, but because of the degree of understanding that parents have, they tend to be like sitting here Munchausen and poisoning and hurting and doing things against the greater good of the child, and all of us, even them, it happened to them. So that's always what must be understood whenever I'm talking here. I don't think there's any vital source or any like, oh, that's the bad guy. There's the parents that are doing something like wrong or stupid. Like, it just so happens that happens. That's the state of consciousness and awareness where they're at to deliver these things that end up being poisonous, to not benefit the next generation. So that dream is, I think, a pretty common one. You read some of the BAP. I kind of want to go revisit some of that. maybe I'll revisit some of my old WordPress stuff, and I'll do shows on that. And as we're going through here, if you guys give me thumbs up, that's great, because that makes me very important to the rest of the community out there. So when people come to look at one of my videos, they see that other people like what I'm talking about, and then that way more people can have all this awesome knowledge. See, there you go, one person listened. Thanks. Awesome. Way to go. Yeah, thank you, Reza. I just seen that. I'll check that out. There you go, Gary. You see what's up. Oh, Bap, thank you, man. That's appreciated. That's good looking, my friend. Good looking. Hey, I figure if they're out there, doing this for phony likes. Have you ever seen those videos about how they have like, you know, like rooms filled with phones that they're using to give more accounts upgrades on on likes and different things? It's pretty interesting. Like, I mean, I assume they existed, but like, hey, whenever we can do it on the side of goodness, if there is that side. Ah, damn it, Gary. Damn it. I wish that were true, except it's not. You know why cheaters never prosper? Because no one's cheating. Everyone is playing within the rules of the game. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any rules. Yeah, it seems to be like a whole lot of amalgamation of just, hey, let's make up the rules as we go along and figure out how this shit works. It's a crazy party, huh? Yeah, man, I could care less. I could really care less about the likes. It doesn't really matter to me. The only slight reason I care is that I can get a little bit of a bigger audience, and in turn, more people understand and learn. And in the future, I can do these. Like I said, maybe I'll do some retreats or whatever, and turn it a little bit of a source of making good trade of excuse me, currency for time kind of things.
That's why I just turned around and I'm like, ID.
There are none. Exactly, Gary. What's a good idea, Unstance? Oh, retreat. Yeah, I was talking about this a couple videos back, and I guess I'll bring it up again here for whoever wasn't for my other broadcasts that I was talking about this. I'm kind of just keeping it open to everybody's ideas of, if y'all want to come to New Orleans, we do like a retreat down here. If I get enough people, we could find a big ass Airbnb house with like a pool and whatever, and like turn it into like a vacation retreat where y'all can come see New Orleans. You can have like we can have like a group thing here, and we get deeper into like all the other crazy shit I know about, and do some things with herbology and teach you in person, hands on, whatever. And so I'm if we get probably, I don't know, 10 to 20 people. I haven't really decided what would be a good number to make it worth it for everybody. And the way I was talking about doing it is, it would basically be like, have a number in your head of what you think it's worth to come do it. And if you can't afford to do it, I'm always happy to, in the future, just donation in the future, because I know a lot of people ain't got cash like that. But it's pretty cheap to travel down here, and it's pretty cheap to get to Airbnb, especially if it's right time of year, in between the festival and carnival seasons. But this is a cheap place to come visit. It's an awesome city, a lot to do down here. Plus, so it's like a vacation / retreat. I ain't gonna make it too like super duper official with like, here we got paperwork and here's the 5-page packet of how I mean, we'll dig into some things, but if anybody's down, we'll try to work this out. Let me know when everybody's free. Let me know what your schedule's looking like and what kind of, and so I'll try to organize it around when I can get. I think maybe I don't know, 16, 17 people would probably be optimal. Yeah, the Kabbalion. Yeah, art by Bat. Yeah, man. I can look on two different ones on my I can look on my YouTube account through this, or I can look at it through the studio, and it gives me two wildly different numbers for how many people have viewed my videos. So I mean, and then whenever I look on, like, I'll look up one of my videos and it'll say like 60 people have watched this, and I'm like, I know 500 people watch this. And so like the view count is staggeringly different to somebody that if they were just scrolling through and looked at one of my videos, it'd say like 50 views. I'm like, I mean, in the larger scope of everything, I always say in the good, in the quality realm, in the good realm of looking at it, is that this knowledge only gets to people who should. You know, I have to think that even if it is suppressed in any ways, I'd rather not have to deal with an extra 100 people on here that, you know, people just jump on here talking stupid shit because I ain't got time for it, you know? And that would just get in the way of everybody here that is actually interested in what's going on and how to improve their lives and, you know? Drop a freestyle. You great. Lion Strong. Let me get. Oh, because the music. Okay, I should have. I was in somewhere else. Freestyle. I don't know. I do pay for it style. You know. You pay for the style. Daniel Drury. So that's up to everybody else too. That's why I'm kind of just putting out here as like an open forum talk about it. Like, I mean, 8 days. Does 8 seem right? You know. And I'm also thinking about traveling because it's easiest and cheapest to travel on Mondays and Tuesdays. So it could be 6 days. It could be 6 to 8 days. And I think like either a Tuesday to a Monday might be a brilliant thing, because there's also gonna be a time in here where like this ain't just about coming down here and doing some Om Namah Shiva shit and getting all healthy and like you're in New Orleans and there's magic down here. There's cool things to do and there's all sorts of being irresponsible going on. So. And I like to keep that as part of, like, you know, if you all want to come down here and play with the city and see all aspects to Pandora's box. You know, I'm not trying to. So, 6 to 8 days. And then I also was thinking about it just from the level of everybody else, their lifestyle and what their schedule looks like, probably week. And so that way they don't look at it as like I'm going somewhere for a retreat to but interact with the vacation, because if you've never been here, people want to go to Florida for vacation. Nah. The best place is to go on vacation, this city right here. So it turns into like a vacation plus, oh shit, you get to meet some living mystic or something. Oh shit! Oh no, Katesh, I never meant to make him jealous. I made a lot of husbands jealous, but I don't. That's so funny. Oh, he's got nothing to worry about. Nothing to be jealous of here.
She was here for what, 2 years?
I'm just another version of him. Let him remind him that, Katesh, I'm just another version of him. He could just. Yeah, and you know what we'll do? As Lion Strong just said, meet in the astral realm. I can start doing some of these videos. I can start being a little more organized with the things I'm doing here, and maybe do like maybe like a Tuesday. Let's do a Tuesday meetup with people, and we'll talk specifically about dreaming, out-of-body experiences, astral realms, and try to link up and understand through harmonics how to do this, because. Really, like if we found a specific frequency, we could all go to bed listening to the same frequency, attempt to traverse through that time tube, that tunnel of frequency that then becomes where we could, you know, vibe at. Because that's what it is. Think about when people go, think of it in a very simple way, when people go listen to music, a concert, they're vibing at that frequency. It's a bunch of different frequencies, but they're all vibing on that frequency. Now when you go to bed at night, because most people don't have 100% control over their consciousness to put their brain into that brain wave and that frequency they want, that if we all just said, okay, let's it's like you get on a walkie-talkie, we're going to be on channel, you know, 107.5, whatever. We'll basically be doing the same thing at night with the frequency in your brain. This is why This is why frequencies used on the internet for like, hey, get out of body experiences. Yeah, they help, but you don't know where you're going. I mean, it's a great thing to learn about it because it's just the astral realm. It doesn't matter who owns it, whoever's controlling it, and whoever's vortex that is. It doesn't even really matter because it helps you get out of body and understand the environment. But if we link up on like, hey, here's the frequency. What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency, Kenneth? We all, we could start working something out like that. Like, I have all the blueprints for how this shit works. I just, I never really done it. Never really like hooked it up with people like that. But we could do like a Tuesday thing like that. Do like a Wednesday movie review or whatever, and we could. So yeah, let me know. Y'all just gotta let me know about this stuff. What you think about it, and because like I'm sitting here like, hey, I'll talk about whatever y'all want. So just you tell me. I'm just a portal. Ha 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 ha. Gary, Pandora's box. Yeah, you look like you got some sausage fingers, Gary. There we go, Pandora's box. I've been talking about Pandora's box with people lately too. Panorama, the Pandora, the Pandora's Explorer. Oh, Cam, for real? Cam, your old girlfriend was jealous of me? How was she jealous of me? She thought you was about to leave her for me? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, jealousy's terrible, man. Everybody gets those little inklings. It's an awful little feeling. It makes you very tiny for a second. I've definitely had bouts of that. That's awful. But, move on, get bigger. We all getting bigger, That's the whole thing is you're creating your auric field. And some people, what death is? It's creating an auric field that becomes so small that it goes back inside of that immortal cell that you get rebirth somewhere. Where the opposite direction, you become so expansive and so big that you can move inside of that space. That motherfucker right there. That motherfucker right there. Thank you, Katesh. I take that as a compliment because most of the time I'm called something much worse than that in person. That motherfucker right there. That's it. That is. I could hear that. I like that. It's got a good ring to it. Yeah, Unstance. I would definitely back to the earlier thing. I'm at 639 with Unstance. Yeah, I would organize it. I'm being facetious. If I had, if 16, 17 people came down here, I would organize it. It wouldn't be all willy-nilly like, well, what do you guys want to do? I would organize it with all of you kind of prior to it. Like we'd establish a date and then kind of like, what do you guys want to really get into and dig into and learn about, and then I mean, I'm shit. In all reality, if I had cash sitting around, I'd be having programs, put a big sign up, blah blah blah. But I also like the personal thing a little better too. I wouldn't like teaching 100 people in a public forum. I would, but I like the more human interaction because I can't make eye contact with 100 people, Bthome 957. Look into who's got that little device. It's a parasite killing device. What's her name? Anybody know? You want to put that in below for Bthome 957 frequency? There's not a specific frequency. Different parasites live on different frequencies, and you can always find the harmonic resonators, meaning find something that isn't the same frequency but is like an octave above. So you could find sounds as well as you could find foods. You could find smells, oils, essential oils. They'll do the same job. And then you can use the actual specific frequency. So basically you're not using the frequency it's on, but in the sense that you shatter a glass, you'd find its you'd find its resonance frequency, and so that's what you'd be doing.
You want to go to the light or you want to go to the left?
Jake Dyer.
Awesome.
Thank you. Esoteric movie breakdowns. Yeah, hey Jake Dyer, did you ever see the little one I did a while ago on JC and JB resonators? The Joaquin Boaz Jesus Christ resonators? Check that one out. It's maybe like, I don't know, 9 months ago. But we could get into that. As I've said before, I've never really dug into esoteric movie breakdowns too much because that would involve a lot of time to spend in a movie, because people, and there's so many people out there that already do really, really, really good ones. I'd be an amateur at that, you know. I like to talk about them, and you know, there's little bits and pieces in there, but yeah, check out my JB and JC resonators one. I was gonna go through the whole alphabet, and then I was like, nah, I'm not really into movies like that. But oh man, oh Cam, you always say you thought I was right and she was wrong. Well, there you go. I mean, country music and fluoride. There you go. Which caused which one? Did the country music cause the desire for fluoride, or the fluoride cause the desire for country music? It's like, what came first, the chicken or the dead, or the egg or the dead chicken? You know? Yeah. I understand though, Cam. Imagine though this, Cam. You always thought I was right, and you said you thought I was right and she was wrong. Imagine being me and always having to deal with basically being right all the time. I mean, I'm being somewhat facetious and somewhat like, you know, when you happen to know a little more in someone and not come off as a like a know-it-all about it, and to like somehow like it's a who said the comment, if you're gonna tell somebody the truth, make them laugh or they'll kill you. You know, people get upset if you tell someone like honesty or truth, or you're right and they're not, because the ego just like chopping on people's egos. It's like, yeah. Katesh, when you say it's about time spent, I'm guessing, yeah, just quality time invested into something. I don't know exactly what that was too, but yeah. Investment of quality. Investment of time is quality. Nah, Kingman 2 ain't out yet. Netflix, man. You know, maybe one of these nights I'll sit at the house and I'll go through like some movies, things. I don't watch too many movies, man. I haven't seen a lot of things lately, but you know, obviously The Fountain is one of my favorite movies, if that's on there. And Lion Strong, I'm laughing at where you're laughing. I'm back at 6:39. Yeah. There you go, Chrono. God of the world. Gary Bax, they put fluoride in country music. Now, you know, obviously getting in all this funny stuff, there's a good chance that there are tones and frequencies within certain kinds of music that resonate in a harmonic, like octave up from some sort of the metallic substance, or the substance in the body. So it's actually activating or making something work. Just checking what my time is looking like. Okay, they put fluoride in country music. That's amazing. Imagine if they put country music and fluoride, and you just ate some fluoride, and all of a sudden you could just hear your dog running away, and your wife drunk was to get her the dirt. And oh man, let me slow down here. Country music takes over my soul, and I go into some sort of country music. I don't know, character. And I start, it's right there. It wants to come out, but I don't think I can. I think wearing this isn't gonna look. It's not gonna allow it to come out. So I'm back. I'm way earlier. 6:40. Jude Meister. Frequency meeting. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, Gary. That's awesome, man. That's excellent that it's doing so much for you. Oh, okay. I'm well far back. Hulda, just so I can say it out loud. Hulda Clark, and the is it the Rife? Oh, yeah, Rife Frequencies. What was his actual name? Royal Raymond Rife. There it is. Royal Raymond Rife and all the frequencies. Yeah, that's good stuff. Is it the snapper kills parasites? I thought the snapper gave you parasites. It's called the zapper. The snapper will give you parasites. But anybody? Gary, let me get that LMAO after that. Thank you. It's not the snapper, it's the zapper. Yeah, I guess I'm well behind in the jokes. Sorry, guys. I'm scrolling through, but... yeah. Instance, yeah, I can sit through movies with the... you know, the popcorn helps, you know? Gotta have that popcorn. I don't care what they put in it, I'm eating it. Instance, yeah, it is really. I've made a very concerted effort to try to walk that fine line when I'm doing these things. But in real life, it doesn't. You know, it oozes the know-it-allness. That oozes off of me. But as the greats say, like, don't, you know, you gotta shine. Just let your shine out. If you a sunshine, be the sunshine. You know. That's all I can do. But I've realized that interjecting some of my humor helps quite a bit with it.
That was just
Like a significant other?
yeah, I don't know why. I usually never get my feels about that.
I know, I'm like, okay.
I never would care about that. And I was just
Yeah, Jake Dyer, that's exactly the way to do it. Point at it, but don't be the delivery service for it. Like, oh, it's just right over there. Yeah, that's a genius way of doing it. If you can figure out how to do that in everyday circumstances with people, to be able to direct them towards truth without actually just saying this is the truth or whatever it might be, that's very effective. It's very difficult to do, though. It's hard to be the mailman without actually having a piece of mail in your hand. Hey Cam, you said, do we want to hear something crazy and synchronistic about your girlfriend? Cam, didn't you just break up with her? Isn't this your ex-girlfriend? We're gonna help you through this, my friend. But isn't it your ex, or is it your new girlfriend? Didn't you just break up with somebody? Ooh, amour. Yeah, the moor is of the land, yeah. And nothing wrong with density, women's Cam. Nothing wrong with density. We like density. Oh, and instance, yeah, ghee is essentially, you know, clarified butter. So it is the stuff that does go on popcorn, but getting it from different companies that have like, you know, the different kind of cows and what they're fed and how, you know, the source, you can find some really, really excellent ghee that is just, you know, a little ghee on some rice. It's crazy good. There you go, Cam. That's awesome, man. The more, yeah. I might have dated a more or two, both in actually and last name wise. I'm sure that in my younger days, maybe even my older days. Yeah. Electric Tower, I think you answered your own question. You said 7 billion gods. What would be the outcome if they didn't know the power of their combined belief? This that's going on right now in the general world. Because most people don't have a very strong opinion or belief on anything. So they actually, people always talk about having belief in something. And the dilemma actually is people have no belief in anything. And they have very small, opinions. No opinions and no belief. And so therefore they're actually unactivated. They're just walking around as empty vessels. They could be activated into a belief in something. And it's not even, everybody says the word belief is all, no, we know we're talking about, we say, believing in your imagination, believing in the outcome, and, encouraging thoughts along. But imagine if people could do that. Most people would just, they say something, but they ain't got no belief in it. They got no energy invested into it. Cam, I got you back to the X. Yeah, there you go. Chipotle over meditation. She feeding that Moorish bottom. She big bottom girl. Yeah, Cam is at heart, I can tell. Why are Asians the most abundant on the planet? Zet. I can't wait to do all these things with you, man. These are questions that it's hard to really, dial into. But I'll try to do a little bit of honing in on the research of that. But I've always considered that too. And I have quite a connection to some Asian Russian heritage that it's like beyond. I don't know because I'm adopted, so I don't know. But I have a very interesting connection. And they do, just like rabbits, and they sound like Gary, and they sound like rabbits too. Gary, man. I used to have quite a fascination with the Asian girls. Asians were what was going on for a little bit. Yeah, Gary, dude, watching. Unston said Gary watching rabbits fuck. It would be so quick that it would be hard to even get a view of it, Yeah, Daniel, that's the thing too. I kind of spoke on rice a few times, but yeah, it's obviously a staple diet that's not. It's hypoallergenic. It's a staple. It's staple to everyone's diet. It's just a matter of how much and what it's used for. It shouldn't be used. It shouldn't be used as a nutritional support system. That's not what it was used for. It's like thinking of oatmeal to be a nutritional support epicenter. It's not. These things aren't made for the nutritional aspects of them. So it's understanding that foods shouldn't be looked at as what vitamins am I getting out of it, but what is its property and what is its use. There's a lot of things that are basically just used to be fibers or to be gluten rich, to glue things together and pull things out of their body. There's a lot of things that have different qualities, and it should be understood of what is the quality of the food, not necessarily of what is its nutritional components. So that, when you look into these cultures, especially rice heavy cultures, look at how they used it, what it was used for, what meals they used it for, how they used it. Not popularly now, but getting back into the larger history of how food was used. Yeah, garden is a great thing to get into, man. Maybe find yourself some indoor stuff you can do, or find a little shelf for your window, you know, little window unit. Bap with the backhand. Very busy at Easter for Gary. Yeah, electric towel. I would say that the power in not knowing of power is that when you come to the realization of it, it's basically like virgin power. It's untainted, because if you were living your whole life going through it in a certain way, and somebody like, no, you do have power to do these certain things, coming to that term and having a little bit of a mindset and awareness of how to use and control and function. If you came into the world just running around doing things, and all of a sudden somebody's like, oh no, actually you can go in this room over here and there's all of these buttons on this computer that has all of these effects that will create all of these environments and create all of this power. But like, if you can, this is yours, we'll just show you how to use it. That's the advantage. If we gave everybody like, just run in this room and start pushing buttons, that's the advantage to people not knowing. Oh man. Sprouts. Hey, so check it out, y'all. My phone is almost dead. I'm really digging where this conversation is, but my phone is almost dead and I gotta charge it up. So maybe I'll check you guys out. I got a little bit of errands to run. Maybe like 8:30. So like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, possibly. Rabbits. That's funny. I mean, most men and women ain't too different. What's on my forehead, Cam? What do you think it is?
I was like, but I saw not not.
It's that bindi. A bindi. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's for sure. Of course, Bap. So yeah, everybody. I'm gonna go out, go and finish this. I'm gonna go plug this in, and then I'll probably catch you guys maybe in 2 hours. And so as always, thank you for joining. It's been fun. Feel free to put a thumbs up if you liked anything I had to say. And as always, if you find that you have too much money in your pocket and that you want to donate me any, you can always do that, obviously, because it always helps me to feed my insanity, so you guys can get the whatever sanity comes out of it. So yeah, cheers everybody.